None. Are there any tabling of committee reports? Other reports and papers? None. Let's move to the orders of the day. We shall now move to item 7.1, consideration and adoption of the following report on oversight mechanism by committee chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I'm Lady Maria Nathan. Here presents 2021-2022 second quarter report for the Local Legislature in order for this House to consider and adopt. I think I so move.
Thank you, the committee chairperson. Seven 1.1. Oh, thank you very much, Honorable Pala. Thank you, Honorable Pala. 7.1.1, consideration and adoption of 2021-2022 second quarter report of the Limpopo Legislature. Committee Chair.
Oh, thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson and Honorable Speaker. It must be 7.1.2. They repeated the number 7.1.1 twice. 7.1.2, Honorable Speaker, I, Lady Maria Nathan, hereby present 2021-2022 third quarter report in this House for consideration and adoption. I thank you. I so much.
Thank you, Committee Chairperson. Any seconder? Honorable Serono.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I second Honorable Hanyane on the tabling of the report of the committee. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Ziono. 7.1.3, 2021-2022 fourth quarter report of the Limpopo Legislature. Committee Chair.
Thank you once more, Honorable Speaker. I, Lady Maria Nathan, hereby present 2021-2022 fourth quarter report to this House for consideration and adoption. I so move, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Hanyane. Any seconder? Honorable Maspamen.
I still do 7 Chairperson of the sheet. Honorable Madam.
Thank you, the Honorable Member. 7.1.4, the 2020-2021 annual report. Committee Chair.
Thank you once more, Honorable Speaker. I, Lady Maria Nathan, hereby present 2020-2021 annual report of the Limpopo Legislature into this House for consideration and adoption. I so move, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Hanyane. Can we call for a seconder? Honorable Muchadi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I, Secretary Monica Muchadi, rise to second the tabling of the report presented by the Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Muchadi. We shall now refer to the speakers list. We are appealing that all the speakers need to adhere to the time allocated. The first speaker on the list we've got Honorable Nage Ketana. 7 minutes.
Thank you so much. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Premier, in absentia, Honorable Chair of Chairs, Chief Whip of the Majority Party, the African National Congress, Leader of Government Business, Honorable MECs, Honorable Members and officials, distinguished guests, good morning. Honorable Speaker, this sitting is taking place at a time when the Limpopo Provincial Government is saddened by the brutal murder of the Mayor of Collins Chavani Municipality, Councillor Mos Maluleke. Councillor Maluleke was brutally murdered in his home last week, Thursday. On behalf of all in this august house, we condemn this murder in the strongest possible terms, and we urge the law and enforcement agencies to ensure that perpetrators of this terrible crime are brought to book. We are also meeting here at a time when the Reserve Bank has increased the repo rate by 75 points, which is the increase in percentage of 5.5%. And that in itself has an impact on the motive forces of the national democratic revolutions, especially the rural poor, the proletariat, and the downtrodden. We also welcome the arrival of the AFCON champions Banyana Banyana back home after winning the 2022 Men's African Cup of Nations by beating Morocco 2-1, and also lobby for equal amount of incentives with Bafana Bafana. We also welcome all the people of South Africa who are now at airport to welcome the Banyana Banyana as part, of course, of national building and social cohesion. Madam Speaker, the committee welcomed the audit outcomes achieved by the Limpopo legislature. We have noted that the Limpopo legislature had regressed from clean audit to an unqualified audit with emphasis made on assets and most of them on IT. The accounting officer must work hard in this financial year to address all the audit findings to ensure that the legislature goes back to its roots of attaining clean audit and maintain stable with that. We are concerned, however, about the labor-related lawsuits against the institution and collective agreements, insufficient furniture for political staff, and comprehensive security system both in the parliamentary village and legislature precincts, and urge the Speaker to speed up the meeting with Public Works, Police, and Treasury. At the same time, we also want to commend the Office of the Speaker for developments made during the COVID-19 restrictions, such as hybrid sessions and virtual meetings, which have actually modernized the way we communicate and exchange information. However, the committee is concerned with the expenditure pattern, which is the under-expenditure and over-expenditure observed in some of the programs during the period under the review, the trend, which is also recurring in all the provincial departments because of the misalignment between the annual performance plan and the budget, and believe that same will be corrected in the next financial year. We also noted the minimal publicity of events and the poor quality of pictures in the social network. The non-availability of wellness awareness programs in the fourth quarter, Honourable Speaker, is also a call for concern. We know, Honourable Speaker, for a fact that during the time of pandemic, people were affected either by the endogenous and the exogenous factors like the poverty, unemployment, and the loss of jobs.
With regard to library service, we believe that the legislature will move with the times in terms of digitalization of documents in line with the fourth industrial revolution. We believe that library services should be able to move with the times and ensure that e-books are also available in the library of the legislature. Honorable Speaker, our concern about facilitation of bills from provincial departments. The majority of bills facilitated were from the NCOP. We are rightfully concerned, Honorable Speaker, because the provincial administration itself should be able to facilitate the proposal of bills in response to the particular legislative needs in this province. We should be able to review provincial bills to ensure that they are on par with economic, political, and social development of Limpopo province. The Oversight Committee meetings and oversight reports were not conducted as expected due to the SCOPA, public hearings, and the legislature must ensure that the programs of SCOPA, public hearings, are aligned with the approved APP and achieved as planned. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, we acknowledge the challenges brought on by COVID-19, especially with regards to public participation in educational workshops. Some could not be conducted due to the imposed restrictions. Again, we believe that moving forward, we should also be able to take advantage of hybrid and virtual sessions in improving our work. We congratulate the work done by the legislature and hope that it will move to higher ground. The recommendations made by the committee should be implemented, and the legislature should be exemplary to other departments because its functionalities cannot be underestimated. Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, I'd like to say all cadres to the front and also quote the words of Nelson Tata Mandela, who said, "A leader is like a shepherd. He stays behind the flock, letting the most nimble go out ahead, when upon the others follow, not realizing that all along they are being directed from behind." I so move, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Masala. 5 minutes.
Greetings, Speaker. Greetings to the House. Honorable Speaker, we submit that in future, local government elections should not deter this House from performing its normal duties. The House will not sit as expected, and the reason for the underperformance is local government election. Training of employees should be prioritized based on their skills, needs, and non-attendance should not be limited. All training sessions must be reprioritized. We need to report on training targets for the last 2 financial years. Having said this, Honorable Speaker, we do want to strongly register a concern. There are some staff members of the legislature who are members of the ANC who can differentiate their responsibility as staff of the legislature and as the members of the ANC. They come to work as and when they want with no consequence management applied. When they are at work as staff of the legislature, they continue to behave like members of the ANC to the extent that they are not doing their work as expected because they think that legislature is Franz Moshala House. This is the same group that holds the view that they are untouchable as they continue to privatize the legislature. Unfortunately, this includes some members of management who continue to display arrogance in their interaction with junior staff members. These gatekeepers have a sense of entitlement on everything. Let it be known today that the legislature belongs to the people of Limpopo, not the ANC. It is drunkenness and madness to think that the legislature belongs to the ANC. They can't differentiate between legislators and their own private kitchens. Some women are in the management and shamelessly go to an extent of paging other women under their supervision. Honorable Speaker, what is the reason for a non-award of bursaries to the staff, or does it mean that the legislature is full of academics who have fulfilled their learning first? The bursars should be given to staff members who need them instead of retaining the budget. In fact, it is criminal to return budget because it means that all legislature staff members do not need continuous training and new skills for the benefit of the institution. Planned workshops must take place, including on policy training. This will capacitate this institution, which has more work in ensuring that people of Limpopo are served accordingly. The legislature must be able to produce its own maintenance report as it has maintenance teams in-house, while waiting for service providers to help with a report. The emphasis analysis of APPs and targeted 30 research report could not be met due to work volume. Therefore, this important office must be beefed up as failure or delay to analyze reports from department and entities could lead to collapse of governance. Honorable Speaker, adjudication of petitions should be a matter of priority for this House. Any delay negatively affects communities which are already suffering. Therefore, all petitions must be processed within 30 days of presentation. Furthermore, the allocated budget does not correspond with amount spent. Therefore, an explanation is necessary on this matter on financial year 2020-2021. The legislature must always strive for clean audit. How we expect entities of departments to perform and improve their audit outcome when legislature is regressing. The legislature must explore possibilities of including electronic asset verification. This will enable assets are verified even when there are pandemics or any situation which may hamper physical verification. Honorable Speaker, this House must ensure that there is always budget provision for interns, graduates can be stranded to find a real work exposure when the House blames budget constraints. Wellness awareness programs must include financial literacy and gender-based violence to all members and support teams. Equipping the library must be a matter of priority, and we urge members to utilize library services to enhance knowledge. As COVID-19 restrictions have been lifted, we need more public hearings. Surely our communities are waiting for an opportunity to engage this House. Is there any assessment report on impact caused by a moratorium or not filling funded positions on service delivery? More awareness on legislature and work is required. Therefore, communication must develop a solid plan to make legislature work a household brand. The legislature must consider in transport arrangement for support staff on committee oversight visits instead of fitting personal cars with blue lights. The end result of fitting blue lights to individual cars may defeat the actual goal. Honorable Speaker, what is the actual value of legislative prison as this led to AG making an issue with such non-disclosure? We need answers on all the issues raised, and please don't give us proper answers. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Honorable Pala, Capra. I must indicate that Capra, because we've got two Honorable Pala in this House.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. We met with the legislature for the past few quarters and after thorough engagement during the second quarter of 2021-2022, the committee recommended that the legislature diaries must be delivered to members of the provincial legislature before the end of the year 2021. By then, the committee recommended that the website of the Limpopo legislature must be updated and should reflect the current business of the institution. On the third quarter, by then, as a committee, we recommended that there was a need for joint meeting comprising of the Deputy Speaker, members of the Portfolio Committee on Oversight Mechanism, and of Public Works, Department of Public Works, and South African Police Services, to be arranged to discuss all the challenges that were raised in the report of the security services at the parliamentary village. On the fourth quarter by then, the committee recommended that the Office of the Secretary must always ensure that their output on the development of the administrative policies aligned with the approved annual performance plan to avoid audit queries. As a committee, by then, we recommended that the office of the Speaker must always ensure that the output of the number of sittings are aligned with the approved annual performance plan to avoid audit query. The committee recommended that the legislature must improve on the performance of assets management. The committee recommended that the legislature must concentrate on the issues of the under-expenditure more on the financial and non-financial performances. By then, we recommended that the fleet management and logistics must always ensure that their output on how transport and logistical services are provided are aligned with the approved annual performance plan achieved. By then, the committee recommended that the human resource management must always ensure that their output on the rollout of employees' trainings are aligned with the approved annual performance plan and actually achieved. By then, we recommended that the legislature must improve on the implementation of the wellness program of staff and members of the provincial legislature. By then, as a committee, we recommended that communication services must always ensure that their output on the publicizing of events are aligned with the approved annual performance plan and achieved. By then, as a committee, we recommended that the internal audit must always ensure that their target on producing the internal audit report is aligned with the approved annual performance plan to avoid audit queries. As a committee, by then, we recommended that members of safety and security must always ensure that their output on producing the security system maintenance report are aligned with the approved annual performance plan. As a committee, by then, we recommended that the political support services must always ensure that their output on the political party strips is aligned with the approved annual performance plan.
Thank you very much for that cooperation. Honorable Khayani.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. Honorable Speaker, Mayor Molapo, in absentia. The Speaker of the Day, Honorable Chairperson, Deputy Speaker, Honorable Ndo, our Honorable Premier in absentia, Honorable Chair of Chairs, Honorable Chief Whip and Deputy Chief Whip, Honorable Chairpersons of different portfolio committees, all honorable MECs present here, all honorable members of this August House, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Honorable Speaker, I, Nagedi Mariala Khanyani, rise to present 2021-2022 financial year second quarter report, 2021-2022 financial year third quarter, 2021-2022 financial year fourth quarter report, and 2020-2021 annual report of the Oversight mechanism for consideration and adoption by this House. Honorable Speaker, the Portfolio Committee on Oversight mechanism met with the legislature on the 12th July 2022 to deal with 2021-2022 financial year fourth quarter report of the legislature. The presentation was centered on the overall budget and performance plans for 2021-2022 financial year, Honorable Speaker. It is in that spirit, Honorable Speaker, that we debate the quarters under review and the annual reports of this committee to ensure that we play the important role of an effective people's government. We have raised a concern with regard to tabling and debating of this report, Honorable Speaker. We know very well that there were challenges on COVID-19 pandemic regulations, hence it was business unusual. We are, however, concerned about the efficacy of our oversight, where we now have a tendency to debate multiple quarterly reports in one sitting, as is the case, for instance, today, Honorable Speaker. Of late, due to the challenges mostly related to COVID-19 restrictions, Honourable Speaker, we have not been able to debate our reports in correlation with their presentations in committees. We find ourselves debating all quarterly reports and annual reports in one sitting, and that is unfair. We should strive at all times to debate within timeframes and thus allow departments to take the necessary corrective actions where recommendations are made in the House. Honourable Speaker, as we continue to play our oversight role, we will continue to demand accountability for the spending of public funds through committees such as COPA. We will continue to recommend corrective actions to be taken against those who continue to act contrary to what is in the best interest of our public. It is important that as the legislature, Honourable Speaker, our role as overseers should continue to support any action taken by law enforcement agencies where serious transgressions have taken place. In the year under review, Honourable Speaker, the legislature underperformed bursaries and training for staff. We understand that due to COVID-19 restrictions, some of the set targets were not achieved. We believe that moving forward, this matter shall be attended to, Honourable Speaker. It is important that staff of the legislature are continuously capacitated to ensure that they perform their duties to the best of their abilities. Honourable Speaker, the committee noted with a concern that the finance management targeted to conduct one asset verification. However, no asset verification was conducted because the asset verification was deferred to 2022-2023 financial year first quarter due to some work at the renovation building of the legislature. Other expenditure, the committee noted with a concern that the under expenditure was observed during 2021-22 financial year third quarter, and it was also cited in the committee resolutions of the 2021-2022 financial year third quarter report. The under expenditure is recurring in all departments, Honourable Speaker, because of the misalignment between the annual performance plan and the 2021-2022 financial year fourth quarter report. Honourable Speaker, the committee has also observed the overspending, particularly on the sub-program of administration and worse with the under expenditure in the corporate services. The committee noted with a concern that the fleet management and logistics targeted to have one event wherein transport and logistical services will be provided. However, none was undertaken because events are dependent on the request. The committee also noted with a concern that the Human Resources Management targeted to facilitate one collective agreement. However, no collective agreement was facilitated because it was concluded following a moratorium dated the 14th January 2022. The committee noted with a concern that the system of the legislature...
1 minute left.
1 minute left, okay. Thank you, Honourable Speaker. The recommendation is that the legislature must ensure that they put measures in place to address mitigation of the underspending. Honourable Speaker, the Portfolio Committee on Oversight Mechanism recommends that the House adopt 2021-22 financial year, second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter, and also 2020-2021 financial year annual report. I move that this report be adopted as a report of this Honourable House. I move accordingly, Honourable Speaker. Thank you, Pierre. I report.
Thank you. We shall now call upon the Honourable Speaker to respond to the debate made by Honourable members. Honorable Speaker, before you proceed, let the House also note that we're supposed to have tendered the apology. Probably you see that the Premier and the leader of the government business are not present in the House. We must send apology on their behalf that they are committed with the auditors, the AG. So that is the reason, and honorable members must not be surprised in the absence in the House. So the AG is here in the province. They are committed to those kind of meetings. You can proceed, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Speaker of the Day. Yeah, indeed, the Speaker also apologized. She has to rush home to attend to some family matter. But thank you very much for the inputs that members have made, recommendations and comments on the working of the legislature. I think it continues to enhance our work and continue to make us aware where we falter and where we should be able to improve. There are several issues that have been raised by members. If you allow me to just comment on the key ones. And the others are more recommendations that we can be able to take and see how we can improve. I think the matters of labor, matters of public works and police and treasury, which have been raised, I think it's a meeting. We have this matter of the meeting between the three departments and the legislature relates mainly to the issues that are more of security. Now, we have met the police. We have been meeting police several times. We have met the police, we have met the public works. Now, one of the issues that in the last meeting that we had with the police, they came from Victoria, which then led us to get worried, was that the national key point is only the legislature precinct. And I'll explain the difficulties that I have in trying to implement that national key point requirements. Now, initially we were told that that includes the parliamentary village. But in that meeting, we discovered that the parliamentary village is not included on that decision of the national key point. We still have to apply. I'm raising this thing because this meeting, it seems people think that we are not having engagements with these stakeholders. And the difficulty in the parliamentary precinct is that the parliamentary precinct is within the government complex. We have to separate the parliamentary precinct from the government complex so that they are able to then work within, because it is only this building of the parliamentary precinct that has been declared national key point, not the other structures. The arrangement was that we are going to have another entrance, a separate entrance to the legislature. But the other difficulty is that we don't have a perimeter fence which protects this area. Now, all these are issues that needs to be done first before an effective security plan is being put in place by the police for them to be able to implement. Now, of course, you will know that these buildings are under the Department of Public Works, Roads and Infrastructure. They have to budget for them. Now, there's no money for us within the budget of Public Works to be able to do those things. Now, until those things are done, police cannot do anything. And that's why the meeting that has been proposed by the committee and by all of us, it's important so that all of us are in one place to discuss this matter, so that you don't mean public works, no, go and talk to the legislature, the legislature say, no, go and talk to the police. It's a meeting that is important that we must have, so that we're able to deal with this issue. I thought I must raise that these discussions will have to continue. But for the parliamentary village, if we want it to be a national key point, we are told that we need to apply for it to be a national key point. The impression previously by the police and everybody was that it has been declared a national key point. Now, that's why they will bring the guardhouse, they bring all these things, and we don't know they're bringing understanding the decision of granting a national key point was for both. But we discovered that it wasn't. Now I say that we agree that this meeting must take place. We'll raise it to the Speaker when she comes, that this recommendation we think is important. We must pursue it. I think the other was publicity, more character pictures. I think those are issues that we'll take and ensure that we improve them. Yes, we agree that the local government elections must not impede the work of the legislature. We should continue working. I think it's a point taken. Proposals on training, yes, I think are key. We should take them. I think we all agree that when you are employed by any institution, whether it's government, legislature, you are there as an employee of that institution. We expect for that department and not for your political party. It's a matter that, of course, we have got to continue emphasizing through programs that we might develop to make sure that people understand that when they're in a public institution, they work for the public and not for the, they are not running their political parties. Bursaries, every staff member is entitled to get bursaries to pursue their studies, and it's an issue. If there are problems, I think that these are issues that we should raise and make sure that they are attended to. The library, yes, we agree, people must be able to use the library, and we encourage that people have got to access the library and use it effectively, because it assists us to broaden our horizon in terms of knowledge and ensure that we effectively participate in the functionality of the legislation. Probably the assessment report on the vacancies is something that we might have to look at on its impact on service delivery. I think it's an important matter. But also to look at why are those post vacant and how long have they been vacant, and what are the difficulties in ensuring that we fill them. We agree there is and other instruments that members require for the following financial year is to be delivered before the end of the year. Because it doesn't make sense for diaries to come mid-year for members to be able to utilize. The others, I think there were more recommendations. The number of sittings for the AG to be able to make a proper opinion, field management and logistics to align the output. I think it's more on the recommendation side which we take. The other expenditure, I mean, this thing I've been explaining during the COVID that we couldn't do certain things which were in the APP, formal meetings, committee meetings, outreach, and oversight. It was not easy, but that's how the understanding came about. I think, presiding officer, I think I've tried to answer everything. If there are other outstanding issues that we didn't, we'll follow them up and make sure that members get proper responses. Thank you very much.
Thank you, the Honorable Speaker. We shall now move to item 7.2, the consideration and adoption of the following report. 7.2.1, 2021-2022, second quarter report of the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development by the committee chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. On behalf of the Portfolio Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development, I, Masibwamini Mawaka Isaiah, hereby move that the report of the Portfolio Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development for 2021-2022 second quarter financial and investment report of the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development as appear on the list to be adopted as a report of this honorable house. I move properly.
Thank you, Elisa Kanda. Honorable Pala. Pala, the man. Item 7.2.2, the 2021-2022 third quarter report of the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development.
Thank you again, Honorable Speaker, and honorable members, with Honorable Shoga. On behalf of the Portfolio Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development, I, Masibwamini Mawaka Isaiah, hereby move that the report of the Portfolio Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development on the 2021-2022 third quarter financial and performance report of the Limpopo Department of Agriculture and Rural Development as appeared on the HCB adopted as a part of this honorable house. I move up.
Thank you. Thank you, Committee Chairperson. Can we call for a seconder, Honorable Ndala?
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. I, Honorable Raj, to second the motion was raised by the Honorable Masukoni. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Item 7.2.3, the 2021-2022 fourth quarter report, Committee Chair.
Thank you again, Honorable Speaker. On behalf of the Portfolio Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development, I, Masibwamini Mawaka Isaiah, hereby move that the report of the Portfolio Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development on the 2022 fourth quarter financial performance report of the Limpopo Department of Agriculture and Rural Development as it is appeared on the HCB adopted as a report of this honorable house. I move properly.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Can we call for a seconder? Honorable Smale.
Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the people responsible for managing the soil of this province, I stand to second the proposal and the report as put forward by the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on agriculture. Thank you.
Are you leaving strawberry? Thank you. Honorable Smale, 7.2.4, the 2020-2021 annual report for the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development Committee Chair.
Thank you again, Honorable Speaker, and honorable members and individuals of the Stroker. On behalf of the Portfolio Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development, I, Masikwame Mabalaka Isaiah, hereby move that the report of the Portfolio Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development on the 2020-2021 annual report of the Limpopo Department of Agriculture and Rural Development as disagreed on the be adopted as a report of this honorable house. I move approval.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Sulaizadeh. No, I wanted to check because I saw the hand. Can you call for a seconder? Honorable Mate, Violet.
Thanks, Honorable Speaker. I, Mate Susan Violet, rise to second the table of the report of agriculture by the Chairperson, Honorable Masfara.
Thank you, Honorable Mate. We shall now refer to the speaker's list. Each speaker is allocated time within the representative committee and in the program committee. They agreed upon the time which is allocated, and I hope and believe that the honorable members they will strictly adhere to the time allocated. The first speaker on the list, we will now have Honorable Simon Mate with 7 minutes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I need assistance. I can't see anything. I don't see it.
No, jokes aside.
You can now, I think you are now finding another matter.
Thank you very much, Honorable Suleiman, yes, and members of this House. As procedural, the committee executed its constitutional mandate as part of oversight function on whether the programs of the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development unfolded as planned, and to an extent to which the department has performed on its 2020-2021 budget. The agricultural sector is critical for the economic development of the rural areas and the country as a whole. Therefore, our program of rural development, land reform and agrarian reform must be integrated into a clear strategy that seeks to empower the poor. Higher food prices impact negatively on the purchasing power of the poorest of the poor in our province. Thus, it is important that this budget should also speak to providing solutions to caution the poor. Our short-term intervention measures should ensure that they provide safety nets for the poor. Having said that, the disparities that still exist within our country, especially between the urban and rural areas, after almost more than 28 years of democracy, are startling. The development of our rural areas has not taken place at a fast enough pace, and people who live in these areas are still plagued by extreme poverty and lack of food security. This is an unacceptable situation, and the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development must do more to correct the situation and afford the rural areas the required attention, funding, and expertise that they need to escape the cycle of poverty in which they are trapped. As the Portfolio Committee recommends that the department's initiatives and programs aimed at achieving rural development must be re-examined and, if needs be, modified or changed in order to speed up the pace of development in the rural areas. Speaker, the annual performance plan for 2020 financial year, the department has allocated a total adjusted budget of 1.698 billion to 8 key programs. Looking at the departmental performance, it is worth noting with concern that only one black farmer instead of the targeted 7 farmers were supported. Also 1,580 instead of 4,887 black producers were supported with agricultural inputs. The underachievement was because of the project completion as delayed due to slow progress of work by contractors. The department also reported that 108 instead of targeted 350 farmers were trained on CASP, and the underachievement was due to COVID-19 protocols which affected training of farmers owing to restriction on gatherings. Members in the same vein, the department is encouraged to accelerate the sustainability of irrigation schemes and productivity thereof, considering the large amount of money pumped into this farmer support program. Agricultural productivity in the province has declined as a result of challenges of collapsed and unproductive farms and irrigation schemes, which is largely due to unresolved conflicts among beneficiaries. And an example of such is Mahoba Tea Estate. As a remedial plan, the department should ensure that program of action is designed and implemented for restoration of collapsed irrigation schemes, and also ensure other necessary interventions through investigations in relation to illegal dams and ensure stability in the land reform farms in the province. Honorable Speaker, in terms of job creation, the committee noted the report that the department could not place the targeted 120 graduates in agricultural enterprise for practical skills development, which was initially planned for quarter 3. The underachievement is reported to be due to the recruitment process, which took longer as COVID-19 regulations had to be adhered to with regards to gathering of people and social distancing. The department is encouraged to pedal down the provision of support to unemployed graduates through skills development. Members must bear in mind that education plays a crucial role in developing our mental strength within is the hallmark for success in conclusion. As I conclude without indicating others, Speaker, the department is recommended to work with, it is recommended that the department should work with private sector partners and the communities to identify gaps in farmer support size that could be developed with the aim to promote sector of our interest. We believe this could assist in both attracting investors to the province and make the province history and commitment to democracy more visible while growing a feeling of belonging and identity with Limpopo and South Africa among all the province residents, citizens. Thank you.
We shall now call upon Honorable Jedrick, not Cedric, Jedrick Sishok. It must be pronounced properly because I know honorable members will always say Cedric. It's not C, it's J, Jedrick. Jedrick Sishok. Thank you, Honorable Jedrick Sishoka.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
5 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Greetings to the EFF caucus, the MEC for Agriculture and Rural Development, and the members of this caucus house. Honorable Speaker, the EFF in Limpopo dispelled the myth that food security in this country is only attributed to white farmers. Black farmers too, if given the necessary support, can ensure that there is food security in South Africa, in particular in Limpopo province. The importance of food security cannot be overemphasized. We have got lots of people who are willing to be active participants in the value chain of agriculture. However, lack of support is discouraging them. The EFF is disappointed that smallholder farmers continue to be marginalized by the scarcity support, resulting in total collapse of their farming operations. Many of them had to close shop because government support is not forthcoming, hence the local economy is going through serious difficulties. Honorable Speaker, it is a fallacy of generalization that the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development have a farmer support unit. Instead, the department, through CAST, LEGIMA, Land Care Program and other conditional grants, is engaging in cash distribution to politically connected individuals, friends of politicians and officials who are masquerading as business people. The EFF in Limpopo is disappointed that in the midst of unpaid food security in this country and the narrow participation of previously marginalized farmers, the department opted to underspend on farmer support. The above should be regarded as a treason, primarily that without proper consistent farmer support, there shall be no food security and the participation of making farmer in the mainstream aspects in agriculture. In the financial year under review, Honorable Speaker, Program 3, which is agriculture process support, which is allocated 58% of the total budget of the department and also regarded as the core business of the department, recorded under expenditure of 12%. That is 160 million in value money. Honorable Speaker, this department surrendered this money for Program 3 to a national cover, which was allocated to support emerging farmers, while young farmers like Vincent Rapita of Mukim farming in Mulemule still struggling with incomplete infrastructure. Farmers of Telebele in Fitakomtu are struggling with the infrastructure. Livestock farmers are battling with fencing to prevent spread of foot and mouth disease in them, and many more other farmers that are still in need of agricultural support. The most disgusting thing in that is that the department overspent in Program 1, 4, 5, 6, and 7 to the tune of 26 million, but the same programs recorded underperformance on their targets. This lack of correlation between expenditure and actual performance is a call for concern MEC. The MEC must explain to this August House this mismatch between expenditure and actual performance. What are the strategy department have to improve the best situation in Program 3? Honorable Speaker, this House and the people of Limpopo must know that the Department of Agriculture in the previous financial year has surrendered almost 100 million back to National Treasury, the money that was allocated to support emerging farmers. Since 2019, the department has underspent almost 500 million. This figure will continue to increase as the department does not have capacity to meet its target and such failure go unpunished. The trend has been, in 2019-2020, the department spent 96% of its budget. In 2020-2021, it spent 95% of its budget, and in 2021-2022, the current budget that is under review now, the department underspending is sitting at 94%. Honorable Speaker, the EFF needs an explanation from the Premier and the MEC. Why do they hate black farmers so much? With all these revelations, the HOD and the senior management are still enjoying their benefits as if all is well. Truth be told, the cadre deployment is not a problem. The problem is the AFC for putting wrong people who are relatives and friends to both politicians and officials. Honorable Speaker, the agri-park concept remained a pipe dream, and the people of Limpopo were promised lies by the lying government of the ANC, which is led by a group of liars. In 2020-2021 financial year, Flesbom Farmer Production Support Unit was completed, only awaiting electricity connection. Still this financial year, this FPSU is yet to be operational because of the same problem of electricity. It took the old liberation movement 2 years for the old liberation movement to connect and need electricity in a project that is being targeted or used as a catalyst to development. Honorable Speaker, the question we asked to the MEC is how far is the department with the implementation of our parks? How many FPSU were planned in 2017 and how many are operational? Honorable Speaker, the 100 million rand no-tax tomato paste project remains one of the biggest scandals in the department, and the portfolio committee has resolved that the forensic investigation to be done to unearth the truth in this project. The EFF will continue to pursue the matter until those who are responsible for this fruitless and wasteful expenditure are brought to book in the interest of accountability and promotion of good governance. The Honourable Speaker.
The time is up.
Honourable Speaker, we call for MEC to pull, the EFF call for MEC in conclusion to pull up the socks and get her hands dirty in this department because she presides over the department that is harboring laziness, incompetency, and high level of ill discipline. I thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member.
Honorable Jacobus Malen.
Not even my mother called me that name, but yeah. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. The department was allocated a total original budget of 1.68 billion rand to 7 key programs for the financial year. The veterinary program of the department only managed to conducted 1,575 instead of 3,750 visits to epidemiological units for veterinary interventions because there was less request from clients. The department further reported that the department conducted 420 instead of targeted 940 dipping sessions due to a low turnout by farmers for dipping for cattle. The department should be concerned by the lack of commitments by farmers, and more must be done, as this is a critical part of safeguarding animals against disease and other outbreaks like FMD. Cattle in the vaccinated portion of the FMD protected zone should routinely be vaccinated every 4 months, including vaccinations of first-time vaccinated cattle after 3 to 4 weeks, if applicable. These vaccinations must be recorded on the owner's stock card, as well as the cattle registers kept by animal health technicians and state veterinarians, and the electronic records kept at provincial level. The agricultural engineering sub-program must provide support to small-scale farmers according to the industry standards regarding irrigations, mechanization, value-adding, farm structures, and resource conservation management. In terms of infrastructure, the department will establish 48 agricultural infrastructure and equip 255 hectares with in-field irrigation systems, while 22 efficient water use systems will be developed. The department has also planned to establish 9 livestock infrastructures and to develop 1 norms and standards document for infrastructure projects. In terms of climate-smart agricultural technologies, the department will construct 9 environmentally controlled production centers. We are, however, concerned about the progress of the revitalization of these irrigation schemes. The progress reports on the irrigation schemes in the program, including of other irrigation schemes such as Setlo, Botswana, Elandskrant, and Appel, was also what I said. An investigation into the procurement process by the SAU followed in 2016-17 financial year on the fencing project was still in progress on the date of the AG report. The investigations included whether the procurement in awarding the fencing tender was fair, equitable, and competitive and cost-effective and in line with applicable legislation. The report has now indicated instances of maladministration that has led to unwanted expenditure. A total of 62,727,166 rand of irregular expenditure was incurred, and the then Chief Financial Officer and former Supply Chain Management Director were allegedly found wanting in the performance of their duties. We are also very concerned that 47 employees of government did business with the department without disclosing their personal interests. 9 direct employees of the department did business with the department, and we expect the HUD and the MEC to implement the necessary disciplinary processes. We need to do much more for our agricultural colleges so that they do become the first choice of entry for our young learners who wants to study agriculture in our province. Thank you, Honourable Speaker and MEC.
Thank you, Honorable Jacobus Malen, Honorable Marcel Madit, this one is 2 minutes. And if you are the whip representing there, you will know exactly the time allocated. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The report shows that the dipping project was a failure as the farmers didn't have graze for their cattle. The department should have assisted these farmers. If this is part of project of young upcoming farmers, then they are set up for failure. Small farmers need assistance to grow and become part of the market for the future of Limpopo's agricultural and red meat products. Honourable Speaker, the department is quick to report how many new upcoming farmers they assisted, but they could have done more. The under-expenditure of 99 million rand could have helped those farmers who didn't have graze for the cattle, which means that cattle that are not in good condition can still spread the foot and mouth disease as they couldn't be given vaccination. Honourable Speaker, it's a great concern to see that 112 graduates were not employed because personal suitable checks weren't made in time. However, the department should do a suitable check before the program to ensure that the graduates are employable. Because there are other young people that could have gotten this, it is a waste of resources. Urgent attention is required to computers and livestock that were stolen and should have been held accountable. It is time for the department to step up and make sure that the contractors are staying on schedule, as this is difficult to meet targets and delaying production. There should be penalties implemented against the contractors that did not fulfill their contract agreements. Honourable Speaker, as we know, the Department of Agriculture is a very good and very important addition for the province, as they feed the province and the nation, and we need to keep on securing the food security. If you've eaten today, thank the farmer. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Marit. You are the first person after all the speakers who just complied with time strictly without being told any conclusion. Thanks. I hope the other speakers who will be coming must follow your footsteps. You are the best person who can come. We shall now call upon Honorable Isaiah Maskwame for 7 minutes. Honorable Chairperson, you are allowed to come forth.
I'm allowed.
Honorable Chairperson, I think it is advisable as the Chairperson for the Portfolio Committee, also for proper capturing and recording.
No, I'm here. Honorable Speaker, Speaker of the Day, Honorable Deputy Speaker, Honorable Chair of Chairs, Honorable Chief Whip, Honorable Deputy Chief Whip, Honorable Davis Dalani, Honorable members, guests in the gallery, greeting to you all. Honorable Speaker, we appreciate the good work this department is doing in farming, supporting development and veterinary services. We also encourage this department to prioritize youth, disabled and women farmers in the key commodities such as citrus, avocado, fishery and cattle farming. Honorable Speaker, we appreciate that this department received unqualified audits. Opinion, however, this department should be receiving clean audits. The reason that they do not get clean audits that they do not seriously follow the advices from the Auditor General and recommendations from this portfolio. The irregular expenditure are reviewed every financial year. This will never stop until such time the country officer takes serious action or sanctions against officials committing such anomaly. Honorable Speaker, imagine an official channeling over 5 billion to his or their friend or family members getting a punishment of 510 This amount to encourage officials to act in a manner prompt, because the punishment itself encourage officials to continue with such regular and wasteful expenditure. Based on the above scenario, we urge the ANC and their country officer to ensure that they implement corrective and consequence management actions proportionally to the offences. Honorable Speaker, the Nordex tomato-based project is pain in the heart of this portfolio committee. We cannot understand why, in the first place, this department invested over 65 million on a private land. Compounding the pain is the fact that the department also paid a contractor in full for a job not completed. For this, we do not need to wait for the investigation. The department must deal with the officials and contractor involved. If prosecuted or sued, people must start to pay back the money, for else it should be business as usual in the department. Honorable Speaker, the report Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, with the relevant stakeholders, must ensure that land ownership is resolved and that this project becomes operational as a letter of intent. Honorable Speaker, if this department can avoid deviation from supply chain management procedures, it will receive clean audit and refrain from audit queries. A reported in one engagement with this department, we are further concerned by the delays in procurement of production in state and supporting farmers and appointment of contractors. The department must improve the process to secure effectiveness in the supply chain management, to prevent delays in infrastructure development and appointment of contractors.
Honorable Chairperson, can you wait? I see the hand. What is that hand for?
No, the Presiding Officer, I will just receive a message from the transcriber to say they can't hear from that mic and they can't transcribe. If the speaker can. They say they have difficulty to hear from that mic. They can't transcribe. So the first thing that is
likewise, I said, Honorable Chairperson, that maybe perhaps it is advisable that you come in front so that they are able to capture properly.
Is that case?
Okay.
I start afresh, Honorable Speaker. I start afresh.
You can proceed where you are starting. Yeah. You can proceed.
Let's start afresh. Let's start afresh. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Deputy Speaker, Honorable Chair of Chairs, Honorable Chief Whip, Honorable Deputy Chief Whip, Honorable Edison Dalan, Honorable members. and honorable guests, and the guests in the gallery. Greeting to you all this morning. Honorable Speaker, we appreciate the good work this department is doing in farmer support and development and veterinary services. We also encourage this department to prioritize youth, disabled and women farmers in key communities such as citrus, avocado, including fishery and cattle farming. Honorable Speaker, we appreciate that this department received unqualified audit opinion. However, this department should receive clean audit. The reason that they do not get clean audit is that they do not seriously follow the advice from the Auditor General and the recommendation from this portfolio unit. The regular expenditure are occurring every financial year. This will never stop until such time the accounting officer and MEC takes serious actions or sanctions against officials committing such anomaly. Honorable Speaker, imagine an official channeling over 5 million to his or her friend or family members getting a punishment of final written warning. This amount to encouraging officials to act in a manner corrupt, because the punishment itself encourages officials to continue with such irregular and wasteful expenditure. Based on the above scenario, we urge the MEC and the accounting officer to ensure that they implement corrective and consequence management action proportional to the offences. Honorable Speaker, the Nogex tomato-based project is based in the heart of this portfolio committee. We cannot understand why in the first place this department invested over 75 million on private land. Combating the pain is the fact that the department also paid a contractor in full for a job not completed. For this, we do not need to wait for the investigation. The department must deal with the officials and contractor involved. If prosecuted and or sued, people must start to pay back the money, or else it will be. This is essential in this department. Honorable Speaker, the Limpopo Department of Agriculture and Rural Development with relevant stakeholders must ensure that land ownership is resolved and that this project becomes operational as a matter of urgency. Honorable Speaker, if this department can avoid deviation from supply chain management procedure, it will reserve clean audit and refrain from audit queries. As reported in one of the engagement with the department, we are further concerned by the delays in procurement of production inputs aimed at supporting farmers and appointment of contractors. The department must improve the processes to secure effectiveness in the supply chain management to prevent delays in infrastructure development and appointment of contractors. Honorable Speaker, in our engagement with this department, the portfolio committee advised this department to stop recurring audit matters of emphasis, particularly executive management, including failure to monitor internal controls, financial statements full of material misstatements, non-compliance with supply chain procedures, underspending, and the tendency of submitting financial statement not to comply with legal requirements. In conclusion, Honorable MEC, through you, Honorable Speaker, we are saying all this because we are confident that this department can achieve a clean audit opinion. It is our wish that this department must receive clean audit opinion without matters of emphasis. We are willing to observe a standing ovation for this department should they receive a clean audit opinion. We believe this is possible more, especially in this department, amend the unwanted audit findings and implement recommendations by the Portfolio Committee. Amen. Thank you very much. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. You are the second person. And in actual fact, because of time management, you are the first person now to comply strictly with the time allocated. You could not even finish. The time was still gone on. And I hope maybe Honorable Shoga also thinking that that time should be added to his time so that he can complete the speech. But that was also on a lighter note, honorable members. We shall now call upon the honorable MEC to respond to the observation made by the honorable members.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members of the legislature, honorable chairperson of the portfolio committee, and honorable members in this house, honorable chief whip and the deputy chief whip, and also the deputy speaker, I'm sorry too. I bring you greetings as we are wrapping up the event of Mandela. As you will recall, this day is celebrated through the whole world. As a department, we also had several activities to honor the first democratically elected president, Nelson Mandela. Honorable Speaker, from the bottom of our heart, we must thank the Portfolio Committee for the role of oversight they are conducting. This is really helping us to accelerate service delivery. Honorable Speaker, as a department, we shall make sure that there is monitoring mechanism and also enforcing the agreement. We have a plan in place to make sure that the training of farmers should never clash with agricultural production of the same farmers. Honorable Speaker, the activities that were targeted to the second quarter of 2021-22 will be reported in the next quarter report. Through the intervention of the Office of the Premier and the Treasurer, and also the National Department, we shall try by all means to curb the spread and further outbreak of the foot and mouth diseases. We need to indicate that we have been doing that through the various roadblocks in our provinces. I hope you have seen that. Honorable Speaker, as a department, we shall definitely make sure that there should be no delay in the appointment of contractors. The under expenditure on the infrastructure project will be avoided at all costs. Although electricity is a competency of the ESCOM, we shall try by all means to assist farmers. Honorable Speaker, the observation by the Portfolio Committee on the issue of nodules is a serious cause of concern. It is worthy reporting that the provincial treasurer has recently appointed a forensic team to look on the issue. As per the annual plan, we shall support the youth farmers, and as part of the clean governance, we shall definitely make sure that officials should never tamper with supply chain regulations. Honorable Speaker, I must assure members of this House that disciplinary action will be taken against any officials who deviate from supply chain policies. Honorable Speaker, on the issue of the transfer of colleges as raised by the Portfolio Committee, we must reiterate that although it is the competency of the National Department, we shall in the meantime assist the students in getting bursaries. Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, I will round up the debate. We should once more appreciate the role of the Portfolio Committee in conducting the oversight. Let's continue doing it for Mandela, and I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank Thank you, Honorable MEP. We shall now move to item 7.3 for consideration and adoption of the following reports for the Portfolio Committee for Social Development. 7.3.1, the 2021-2022 second quarter report, Committee Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. On behalf of Social Development Committee, I, Saram Yamani, present the report, the second quarter report of 2021-2022 for consideration and adoption by this House. I so move.
Can we call for seconder? Honorable Siono.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I second Honorable Munyama. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Siono. 7.3.2, the 2021-2022 third quarter report. Committee Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. On behalf of the Social Development Committee, I, Saram Nyamani, present the third quarter report of 2021-2022 for consideration and adoption by this House. I so move.
Can you now call for a seconder? Honorable Mato. Thank you, Honorable Member. We shall now refer to the speakers list. Like what I've said, time has been allocated the same. We then call Honorable Appeal.
Thanks very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the committee met with the department and received an accountability on the reports we are debating today. We welcome the spending of 51% by the department during the second quarter for 2021-22 financial year. However, the second quarter for 2024, however, the department had overspent by 51% of the 50% norm of its total expenditure for the period under review. We must indicate that even during the quarter under review, there was an underspending on the restorative services program. The department spent 40% on the same program allocated of the budget allocated to it. The department must ensure that money is spent according to its targets. This overspending on other programs might cause a shortfall of other targets to be achieved in the other quarters. We have observed that the department is still behind in achieving its employment equity in the positions of senior management. The department regressed on the performance of 2021-22 second quarter by 1.6% or 46% against the 47.6% of the first quarter. We are aware that the year 2020 and 21, the country entered an uncharted water of the COVID-19 pandemic, and that would be unreasonable for the department to state as a reason for not achieving the target. The department must work hard to ensure that this financial year employment equity is achieved. We commend the department for maintaining the target for 2% of people living with disabilities. We hope that this achievement could be increased in case anything happens to the department's target. We are concerned that the department is unable to absorb social work graduates. During our site visit to Mankwe social services offices, we have discovered that plus minus and 50 of the social workers were still not absorbed. The department presented that the matter is unable to be resolved because of financial constraints. The ANC manifesto, Honorable Speaker, emphasizes that there must be creation of quality jobs and the improvement of the lives of the citizens of this country. Therefore, it is important that the department ensures that quality jobs are created, more so that these social work studies were funded by the department. We believe that the moratorium on filling of posts would be lifted and funds for the funded positions would be made available. Treasurer could assist in this regard because we cannot assist people with our own funds and do not create employment for them. We further believe that when they were funded, there was a plan to ensure that upon completion, they will use their knowledge and skill to the betterment of the lives of the people of this province. Honorable Speaker, in the second quarter, Sasele Mani infrastructure project was still not completed, and the project started during the year 2017-18 financial year. The project was planned to be completed in the year 2019-20, and it was implemented by the IDT. It is of great concern that the implementing agencies are not implementing projects according to schedule, and they are failing the departments to meet their targets and to spend on their allocated budgets. The department must ensure that projects are monitored from the beginning to the last, so that whenever there are challenges, they are able to address them immediately. We hope and believe that in the year 2022-23, the problem will be addressed. We are concerned, Honorable Speaker, that the department could not implement the great progression. When they briefed the committee, they said there were challenges of liability in terms of accelerating great progression during the quarter under review. However, they reported that a preliminary financial implication amounting to 80 million was presented to Treasury so as to secure funds for this matter. They indicated that all affected employees will receive payments before the 25th of December 2021. The committee welcomed progress made and expressed that these employees waited for payments since 2013. Will play an oversight role to confirm if indeed employees receive what they deserve before the set date. The committee noted with appreciation that challenge regarding lack of supply chain management system controller has been resolved. It was further noted that Logis system controllers were appointed in all 5 districts of the province, and officials were trained for functional system control by Treasury. We observed that in the third quarter, the department could not procure water tanks for 51 funded ECD centers in the Vende region. They reported that they will be delivered in January 2022. The committee will play its oversight role to make sure that they are delivered. However, it was reported that the tanks sent for the 50 sites were manufactured and ready for installation. We are concerned, Honorable Speaker, that we are concerned about the long-standing matter of Rapasha Silatule one-stop center. It does not make sense that a huge amount of money is spent on such a huge infrastructure only to find that it is built on a private property. The implementing department must take responsibility on the loss of money. The House should be furnished with progress report concerning this matter, and the department must institute consequence management against officials who were reckless from the beginning of the erection of this project. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, we encourage the department to implement all recommendations as per the committee reports of the second and third quarter of 2021-22 financial year. I thank you.
Thank you, We shall now call upon
Honorable Manamane Charles Masad.
Greetings once more, Speaker, in the House. Honorable Speaker, just like other departments in this province, the Department of Social Development is on autopilot. It is even more shocking that there is permanent staff this department paid on monthly basis for doing nothing. Our people must not look forward to service delivered from this department anytime soon, because it is honestly not happen. It's not going to happen now or in the future. We want to know what is the status of 21 existing infrastructure of departmental offices or one-stop centers in relation to maintenance. There were some serious delays with regard to water bank cluster 2. What is the cause of these delays and what is the current status of this infrastructure? What is the current status in relation to the water shortage and hot water rectification challenge at Shilubani Frail Care Center? The EFF is concerned over delayed payment of some ECD centers. This is completely unacceptable. It can never be that ECD centers are not paid on time. This affects the day-to-day operations of the centers. It is clear that this government does not care about the future of our children as much as they don't care about all of us. The same thing can be said about underspending on the ECD Presidential Development Initiative. Why do you underspend on this program when the majority of our people, especially young, need jobs? Why is this department not sensitive to the socio-economic needs of our people when they have pronounced themselves that they are a caring government? Then these are not the actions of a caring government. Furthermore, payment of 1,719 ECDs and 8,506 employees was outstanding in second quarter 2021-2022. Honorable Speaker, it is clear that ECD practitioners continue to earn salary wages with no benefits at all. We continue to receive this stipend. They continue to receive this stipend late because it will be wrong to call peanut salaries. The MEC for Social Development receives its salary on a monthly basis without pay. Why should the poor receive their stipend late? Furthermore, the department underperformed on victims of crime and violence accessing support, meaning that they don't care about the plight of the victims of crime and violence. Where must the victims go for support if you are not willing to support them? Who must support them and at what expense? Is it not the responsibility of the department to support victims of crime and violence? If the answer is yes, why are you not performing your duties as expected? Underperformance is a buzzword in the department, and they seem to be comfortable and unshaken by their governance approach. They are convinced that they are applying the right leadership style and governance principles when things are getting out of hand. The committee expressed concern about delays in transferring funds to NPOs during the 2021-2022 financial year. What is the status of the installation of 37 outstanding water tanks and infunded ECDs in the fourth quarter? Surely you can't expect the ECDs to operate smoothly and perform without water. Children and employees at the centers need water to drink. Honorable Speaker, can the MEC update us about unauthorized expenditure amounting to 10.4 billion in Cat-1 Session Treatment Center? This is a thorn in the flesh for the department as this long-standing issue continues to torment them. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Mosala, for compliance with time. And this must be registered as for the first time. Honorable Pala.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Having interacted with the department on its 2021-2022 second and quarter performance report, the committee recommended that the department should provide progress report with regards to addressing Employment Equity Act in relation to women in senior management positions, prioritize the employment of social workers graduated upon receiving additional funding, that the department should provide progress report in relation to the filling of critical funded posts, that the Sisla mine infrastructure project should be expedited and handed over to the end users. This will address the issue of lack of office space to social services officials, that the department should conduct thorough investigation on Zumeri land prior to infrastructure construction to avoid partial start to the one-stop center matter, that the department should provide progress report with regards to great progression upon receipt of by affected employees in the third quarter, that the department should resolve the 8 outstanding AG audit findings and strive for qualified report, provide progress report on Shilobana Floor Care Center, water shortage and procuring of medication at the Seshelo Depot Center, provide progress on infrastructure maintenance on office buildings on quarterly basis, provide progress on the procuring of school uniforms by NPOs on quarterly basis, list of the schools that the uniform were distributed and number of school uniform per school. VPs wear a critical role in communities and the necessary support and resources to perform their duties effectively. Therefore, the department was recommended to address the matters raised by VEPs as a matter of urgency. The department was recommended to provide a progress report with regards to supply of 51 outstanding water tanks in the Member District in East Third Quarter. Report progress regarding the implementation of the Gender-Based Violence Action Plan on a quarterly basis. Provide progress in relation to outstanding 251 NPOs payments transfer. The department was recommended to update the committee regarding the delayed maintenance of existing departmental offices or one-stop centers in Waterberg District Cluster 2 to resolve the 28 outstanding AG audit findings and strive for a clean audit. Provide progress report on the Shobana Floor Care Center again in its third quarter. The department was recommended to provide on the 1,170 outstanding transfer payments on NPOs. The department was recommended to provide quarterly report on the long-standing issues listed below as a solution to be found by the end of the year, which were unauthorized expenditure amounting to 10.4 million incurred on Sexual Treatment Center, filling of critical funded posts, progress on Children and Frail Care Center, and resolution on the land issue regarding Akasha one-stop land.
Thank you, Honorable Khala. Honorable Sarah Munyaman, Committee Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Premier in absentia, Honorable Chief Whip of the Majority Party, the Days of Mukonyana, Chair of Chairs, Honorable Mashamaite, and Deputy Chair of Chairs, as the acting Speaker today, Honorable members of this August Council. Honorable Speaker, we commend the department for spending within its financial capacity in the second quarter. We will work together with the department during our oversight role to ensure that the budget is spent according to approved targets. The department should ensure that when their quarterly expenditure exceeds the norm, it will not affect their annual budget. We are saying this, Honorable Speaker, because the department in the second quarter had overspent by 1%. The department had capacity challenges at the level of senior management in the second quarter. We appreciated the report from the department that filling of critical posts which were funded was underway. The department reported that the post of Chief Financial Officer Chief Director for Social Services, Deputy Director for Acquisition and Demand, Assistant Director Expenditure and Accounts were advertised and will be filled before the end of 2021-2022. It was also reported that the recruitment plan was approved by the Provincial Treasury. The filling of this post will go a long way in addressing lack of capacity in the department. We believe that the department will also improve on the audit opinion. However, the department should ensure that the new staff to be employed should be trained to increase their capacity. Honorable Speaker, we have noted that the department was behind in transferring funds to victim empowerment centers. Those centers also required assistance regarding training on management and other resources. As such, late payments deprive them an opportunity to make improvements and some of them become helpless. We will work with the department to ensure that these challenges are addressed as a matter of urgency. We have observed that the department is well on course in terms of spending the budget in the third quarter. Given its budget, the expenditure of 1,671,000, which was 72% of the total allocation. It was slightly below the 75% expenditure norm by 3%. The department must ensure that it spends money according to its key performance indicators. Honorable Speaker, we commend the department for making a commitment to pay the occupational specific dispensation before December 2021. The department reported that payment was implemented for outstanding accelerated pay progression. We will make follow-up to ensure that the payment was effected. We have noted a delay in terms of maintenance of the one-stop center in Waterberg Cluster 2, while other one-stop centers were being refurbished. The department reported that the delay was due to the Department of Public Works, Roads and Infrastructure not appointing the service provider on time. The department committed that the service provider would be appointed in November 2021. The committee will make follow-up during its oversight in ensuring that indeed the one-stop center in Waterberg Cluster 2 is maintained. We noticed that there were challenges regarding the transitional process of the Shilubana Frail Care Center. The department committed that the challenges will be resolved between the Social Development and Department of Health. We believe that in the fourth quarter, the department will be able to provide progress report concerning the center. We were concerned about the stoppage by Sishu pharmaceutical report in terms of providing live acid main with medication. The challenge was reported in the second quarter and remains unresolved in the third quarter. The department should provide plan in the fourth quarter on how the challenge will be resolved because the people who stay in the center required medical attention. Honorable Speaker, we are also worried about the non-attendance of HODs in this House while we engage on serious matters concerning the department. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, to be the one amongst those that are complying with time. We shall now call upon the Honorable MEC to respond to the observation by Honorable members.
Honorable Speaker and the Deputy Speaker, honorable members of the legislature, Chief Whip, the Deputy Chief Whip, on behalf of the MEC of Dr. Masemola, who is in meeting with the AG on matters of the audit, I hereby acknowledge the inputs made by honorable members on matters of importance relating to service delivery to the people of the province. The issue will receive the attention of the department as we continue to perfect and sharpen the system. We appreciate the advances advices and oversight played by given by the portfolio committee led by Honorable Munyaman. What is pleasing us as a department is the fact that we are meeting when the COVID-19 restrictions have been relaxed. Honorable Speaker, you will recall that the bigger portion of our budget was focusing mainly on the assisting people who were in dire need of food. Honorable Speaker, we are taking note of the outstanding payment of ECD staff members. We shall make sure that we have a clean audit by trying to resolve the 28 outstanding AG findings. Honorable Speaker, the following has been taken care of: filling of vacant posts, provide progress on Shulubani Care Center. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable. We shall now move to item 7.4 in the consideration and adoption of the following report on the Portfolio Committee for Health. 7.4.1, the 2021-2022 second quarter report of the Department of Health by Committee Chairperson.
Speaker Asarul Tadi Selani, Belum jelas dulu Okoro, Okomitia Jaman Provinsi yang Poli, Kopelan Dulu, 11 Bishop, Rapor Oto yang Mahot, kita pergi masuk pergi, kita pergi masuk pergi. Kita kau jalan pergi, Kopelan 11 Bishop ini yang mahal, kenapa?
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Can we call for a seconder? Honorable Salamulela. Also, Donald Salaye.
Kia naomba Speaker Salafon ki emamo utakape ibiulo ki muluastu loko ki chama ya chama pelo province.
Thank you, Honorable Member. 7.4.2, the 2021-2022 third quarter report, Committee Chair.
Akan sampai santero, Tata Speaker. Dalam sampai sekolah komite ada yang mula provinsinya yang pokok. Lawa kumbela Indonesia, ila mutam makaya rapor tu ya kontara yang baru. Yang lembra itu tujuan itu. Nama saya Bu Itaya Ake.
Can we call for a second, Honorable Pala?
Akan jasmine konsen tiro. Lagau sabana komisi chairperson.
Wasakate. Thank you, Honorable Bala. We shall now refer to the speaker's list. Honorable Rebecca Maishibe Siono.
For the opportunity, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Crewman Absentia, Honorable Chief Whip of the ruling party and the Deputy Chief Whip, the Chair of Chairs and the Deputy Chair of Chairs, Honorable Emis Ndabane, Chairpersons of Portfolio Committees, Honorable members of this August House, I greet you all. Honorable Speaker, the year 2021 was a difficult year in which we had entered the second year of the COVID-19 pandemic. We commend the department for the sterling work done on how they managed the pandemic. We also commend and thank the people of Limpopo for their patience and observation of the COVID-19 protocols. It was not an easy task, and indeed perseverance and observation of those protocols saved millions of lives. Honorable Speaker, the department operated under reduced budget allocation and still managed to pull through the mammoth task of implementing some of the services. At the end of Q2, the department was expected to have spent 50% of its budget allocation of 21.9 billion. However, Honorable Speaker, the overall expenditure was 42.9%. The under expenditure that was reported was on Program 6, which is Health, Science and Training, where the department spent 38.1%. Another underspending occurred in the healthcare support at 27% and health facilities management at 21.6%. The department must work hard to improve its implementation of services and according to the annual performance plan targets. Underspending by the department will always lead to undesirable audit opinion, Honorable Speaker. We commended the department on reducing its accruals during the quarter under review, which was a recurrence from the previous financial years. The department reported that the payment of suppliers within 30 days was at 95% during the second quarter of 2021-2022. However, the department reported that it did not have a human capital and ICT solution system that can manage high number of invoices brought by the introduction of the direct delivery model. Honorable Speaker, we have noted that the department had a challenge of human capital at the pharmaceutical depot that caused the non-payment of invoices. We noted also that the department was inconsistent with its reporting about delays in the payment of invoices of the past financial years. In the first quarter of 2021-22, it was reported that delays in payments was due to poor connectivity, which affected bus and lodges. This was a concern which impressed on the committee that the real reason was hidden and should be addressed, Honorable Speaker. The department should investigate the real reason that caused accruals. If there are accruals involved, consequence management should be instituted. Small businesses cannot suffer because of officials who derelict their duties. In healthcare services, the department deals with patient experience of care satisfaction rate, which was reported to be at 81% in the second quarter. From the 65% targeted, we commend the department for achieving and exceeding its target in the second quarter. The department reported that this was due to the improvement in cleanliness through the infection prevention and control, which is IPC program. However, the department had not yet achieved an ideal clinic status during the quarter under review. We will be hard during our oversight role to ensure that the targets set in the annual performance plan are achieved. We have noted that the district hospital services purpose is to provide level 1 hospital services and support the PHC facilities within the catchment area. Honorable Speaker, the department could not achieve this target during the third quarter. It was reported that the maternal mortality in facility ratio would be reported in the fourth quarter of 2021-22. The fatality rate of children under 5 years with 5 diarrhea cases was at 2.4% from the targeted 5.5%. The rate of children under 5 years with pneumonia cases was at 1.7% from the targeted 3.5%. The achievement was reportedly due to capacity building by specialists from regional or tertiary hospitals through outreach services. We commend the department for this achievement. The rate of children under 5 years with severe acute malnutrition cases was at 12.4% instead of targeted 7.5%. The underachievement was reportedly due to delays in seeking healthcare, and that plans are in place to involve community health workers in giving health education. The department must ensure that health workers receive the necessary training to help the department in improving the lives of the citizens of Limpopo. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, will during our oversight role ensure that the department implements all recommendations and report back to the August House. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. We can now call upon Honorable Mangan. For 5 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this department has over a period of time become notorious for underspending on the budget allocations. This underspending is evident on key programs of the department which have direct bearing on service delivery. The under-expenditure in this department is spiraling out of control under the watch of MPC Ramatu. This period under review is not different and will demonstrate this with facts as reported. It is reported that the department reported an under-expenditure in Program 6, Health, Science and Training, with only 38.1% of the budget spent during the second quarter. Furthermore, low expenditure was reported in Program 7, Healthcare Support, and Program 8, Health Facilities Management, in which the department spent 27.5% and 21.6% of its budget, respectively, during the second quarter. All these are critical programs which our people have not benefited from because of the underspending. Honorable Speaker, the emergency medical services of the department is in shambles, and this has been the case for ages. Both urban and rural areas response time were reportedly not achieved because of reduction in the number of operational vehicles due to long vehicle downtime. How do you reduce operational vehicles when there is need for them to collect our people when they are in medical distress? It is quite bizarre that instead of increasing the number of operational vehicles, you reduce them with the deliberate intention to slow down service delivery. Delays in authorization.
In conclusion.
In conclusion, about 2 weeks ago, we visited Mangweng Hospital. When you enter the hospital, you are greeted by a deep stench. The hospital is so filthy that patients get infectious and get more sick instead of getting healed. The hospital was so dirty that one of the visitors who was pressed refused to use the toilet. Honorable members, do not be fooled by those in our midst who love media attention deliberately misrepresenting facts, giving an impression that they are working while they are not. This is the real state of our health facilities in Libongo. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member, for that progressive move. Honorable, I see that Honorable Maharaj is not here. Honorable Marcel Marit.
Honorable Speaker, thank you. The Freedom Fund Plus has a concern challenge regarding the 21.9 billion allocated for financial year 21-22. Only 38.1% of the said budget was spent in the first quarter. This is a serious problem as monies allocated not spent in a certain time frame, and that will be need answers from the department. Honourable Speaker, still the revenue collection should not drop from the first quarter to the second quarter, and a new strategy should be implemented to collect outstanding revenue effectively. Honourable Speaker, although there were ambulances brought by the department that we are grateful for, however much more is needed to be done, as in some rural areas there are great challenges and lives are lost due to time to assist a patient in need. We as the Freedom Fund Plus urge for serious intervention, also at the specialist psychiatric hospitals in Ivakusugeni, Yani and Tabumapu. They deserve better. I visited Tabumapu once before and it is a sad sight to see. It's actually horrible. Really. Honourable Speaker, lastly but also very important, we also put the department and the MEC to please look into the infrastructure of the hospitals. The conditions are a serious hygiene problem. This is not how a hospital should be like. This can cause other health issues. The health of each vulnerable patient is at risk with germs when visit a hospital. This should be attended in a very serious matter. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Marit. You are indeed a victim of who, especially when it comes to time management. Honorable members have right, but when coming to you, they must just left hand for you. Thank you very much, honorable members. We shall now call upon Honorable Chairperson for the portfolio commission as Honorable Macron.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chair of Chairs, Honorable Deputy Speaker, President G, Member of the Executive, President G, colleagues, and all honorable members. Before I start my speech, let me wish Peter General Shimami happy birthday today. The young man who was born in Kahiso at the age of 58 now, one of the successful black footballer, managers, coach of the world, the father of two and married to Moira. Secondly, let me take this opportunity also to wish the birthday to one of the anti-apartheid activists, Erasmus Solé, who was born on 26th of May 1924, passed on in 9 May 1994, a day in which the first black president of the Republic of South Africa was inaugurated. Father of 7 and married to Caroline, born in Pukwani, neighbor in the Skukuni land. And lastly, a birthday to the official opposition of the EFF, born today in 2018. Honorable Speaker, we observed that the department was faced with the challenges of filling critical posts due to the second quarter of 2022 financial year. This was during the COVID-19 epidemic and the budget of most services were reduced to focus on the pandemic. For the department to fill those posts, it has made submission to Treasury and received a disapproval. Usually when people talk about treasury, it's what we call the Provincial Personnel Management Committee, where the department present and engage in interrogate request and recommend to the Executive Council, and the Executive Council is the final item. The department should develop a plan on how those posts should be filled and report to the House. The department should also engage as set out in an annual performance plan and achieved in each quarter. This will help the department know to understand and overstand the target of the ART adults and children while allowing suppress rate at 12 months was not met due to high loss of follow-up rate, about 3.4% in the months, and the COIC between April and June 2021. The same target of TB treatment rate was also not met. The high death rate of the 2.4%, especially in Capricorn District, 24.4% in Bamba District, and 37.7% was reported due to advanced TB, especially in the co-infected patient. The department reported on the plans to identify non-suppressing patients of 10, net and link them to support platforms, and also climbed to interrupt the treatment will be traced. Furthermore, the department reported that it will not roll out the implementation of brain TB diagnosis tests in Ulema in all primary healthcare facilities for early TB diagnosis in HIV and positive patients with CD4 count of 200 and below, and the HIV patients who are very sick regardless of the CD4 count. We will work with the department during our oversight role to make sure that the rollout program is implemented. The department is encouraged to increase its capacity in terms of making follow-ups to reduce the monthly mortality rate. We know that during the period under review, the department faced the challenge of BCG's syringe stock out. As such, the department could not immunize children under the age of 1, and this was because of the lapse of the national contract. Also, in the second quarter, it was reported that the two targets of the immunization of children under the age of 1 year coverage and the miscellaneous dose coverage were not met due to COVID-19 third wave. The only target was reported met was the vitamin A 12 to 59 months coverage. We are concerned with the continuous challenges of shortage of vaccine and also request the department to provide a progress report regarding the renewal of the contract for the supply of vaccine and whether the shortage of syringes as reported in the second quarter was resolved. The department should provide a plan on how the shortage of medicine will be addressed. We will play an oversight role on the department in order to ensure that the lives of children of Limpopo are saved. We are concerned about the state of ambulances and patient transport that refuse to make inter-transfers. The department was faced with the challenge of ambulances whereby some no longer in the state in which they could use. Rural areas are the most affected by the shortage of ambulances. The department failed to meet the two of its target on urban and rural responding time during the third quarter. This was not achieved because of the reduction of the number of operation vehicles during the long vehicle downtime, and that authority to approve minor repairs was delegated to district level as part of the intervention. The staff also take time to approve the repair whereby the ambulance can stay for a month or more in the repair. The department should submit a report on how many ambulances were repaired since the delegation was approved. The department should also account how new ambulances were distributed to rural and also urban areas. We have observed that the establishment of the Limpopo Academic Hospital has been taken for a long time. The committees concerned with the building of the hospital might diminish and might never resurface. The department should report on those in the house about the progress in terms of the hospital. We have noticed also that the infrastructure of the nursing colleges stay idle for a long time and dilapidated. There is also social places in our province, and some are in the employment of the department are also aging. The department should clarify why there is no plan to train with nurses and other health professionals. The department should also report the intervention in place to motivate the funding of the nursing colleges. We work together with the department to ensure that nursing colleges are funded and functioning. Honourable Speaker, the Department of Health has a duty to save the lives of people of Limpopo province through the professional medical care training of health professionals as well as other services. The department should also improve its financial health through training of staff on the financial section and working together with the Auditor General. The audit opinion cannot remain stagnant for many, many years without improvement. I thank you.
Thank you. For complying with time, we just wish that the time that we have left was supposed to be allocated to Honorable Stoker, but it's quite unfortunate. Thank you for such compliance. We shall now call upon the Honorable MEC to come to respond to the observation made by the Honorable members.
Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the MEC, Dr. Kopira Matuba, who is on the way to Canada, hereby acknowledge the input made by the honorable members. The issues will receive attention of the department. The COVID numbers are decreasing, but we must also warn the public that COVID is still with us. We urge our honorable members to continue to stay safe. As a department in the province, it is a public knowledge that our national minister has just tested positive. We appreciate the advices and oversight played by the portfolio committee. Honorable Speaker, as a department, we are making plans to deal with understanding. The committee shall be updated in the implementation of the audit action plan. Honorable Speaker, as part of the accountability, quarterly reports on the infrastructure project will be submitted to the portfolio committee. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable MEC. Honorable members, I think we must just note that there was an incident of another councillor which was shot in our province, was gunned down in his home, and his son was injured around Malamulela. Councillor, who is the mayor of the Malamulela municipality, Colin Chabad. Thank you for the information, Jedri, Honorable Jedri. And we will then allow the honorable members to just rise for 2 minutes to observe the moment of silence. Thank you very much. May his revolutionary soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you very much. Honorable members, again, we've already submitted the apology long before for Honorable Premier and Honorable Leader of Government Business for the AG long ago. But we are taking notice of the absent Honorable MEC for Agriculture that the department today was presenting, and our officials, the officials for the department, none of them are here. None of them are here. I can't see because here is the secretary of the legislature. And it seems that the honorable members are talking to themselves. Because all these things that are being discussed, debated here, the honorable members, they are aware, they know. The debating is an element where we are indirectly or directly telling them what they must do in order for them to attain the clean audit. So this is a new tendency, if I have to put it, especially for all the officials of the department which did not give notice either on the leader of the government business nor in the office of the speaker, but were taking the matter very much seriously. we will try to find a way on how to deal with it. I just thought that Honorable Smale was here because by the time when we were saying apology was the one complaining at the back of Honorable Shock. Unfortunately, it's not here. The same applies to them. That immediately after they are presenting, they just have to leave without notice. So, honorable members, let us encourage one another to remain stretched and try by all means to maintain the decorum of the house. Without further much ado, is there any announcement? Honorable Speaker?
No, Honorable Presiding Officer, there's no announcement. Those who are hungry, they go to the boardroom and there's food served.
Thank you for that announcement. Honorable members, this house will be adjourned. The sitting will be adjourned until Tuesday, the 2nd August 2022. Thank you very much. Tuesday, the 2nd August.
Mereka itu. Ah, mereka itu